Welcome to First Sleep Aid, calm stories to help you unwind, learn, and fall asleep. From true crime to curious facts and thoughtful ideas, always softly spoken. Subscribe now and take a deep breath. You're in good hands. Okay, so let's start by thinking about those classic small towns you see dotted across the Midwest. Picture it, the church steeples, right? The big grain silos against the horizon.
Yeah, familiar landmarks. Comforting almost.
That was Delphi, Indiana, a place where, well, community ties felt really strong, woven through generations.
People knew each other's histories, their grandparents' stories even. Life moved a bit slower there.
Exactly. It created this feeling of security, didn't it? A kind of inherent safety.
Definitely. Predictable rhythms, you know? Trust between neighbors, you'd expect that strong community bond.
Where lives just naturally intertwine.
Right. But then, on a cold Monday, that February, everything just broke.
That familiar pattern in Delphi, it just fractured. Not in a loud way, not some big disaster.
So spectacle.
Just silence. Two young girls vanished near the Monon High Bridge.
And time itself just seemed to stutter, didn't it? Like the town skipped a beat.
The Monon High Bridge, that's quite a structure, isn't it? Or was?
Very weathered now, yeah. Originally a railroad bridge over Deer Creek,
Right.
but long out of use.
You can picture it. The old wood, the missing tracks, those uneven planks, gaps.
Speaks of history, maybe a bit of neglect too.
But that state, that sort of disrepair, it gave it this allure. Especially for kids, maybe.
Oh, for sure. The height, that view over the creek, it offered something different, a bit removed.
And on that day, it took on this incredibly heavy significance. It became this vessel for memory.
Forever linked to those two girls.
Yeah.
Libby German and Abby Williams.
Who walked it, maybe laughed there, took that photo.
That last photo.
And then never came back.
And what's so deeply unsettling, I think, is how quiet their disappearance was.
Right. No witnesses reporting anything strange, no sounds of a struggle, nothing.
Leaving this huge, noticeable hole. Then came the search, that awful, agonizing search.
The wave of sadness that just rolled over everyone.
And eventually that bit of footage, so grainy, so frustrating. And, after that sound, down the hill.
Just those three words.
Muffled, distorted, snatched out of the air almost. An unknown male voice.
It's chillingly ambiguous, isn't it? It felt so wrong, like an intrusion.
Became like a ghost haunting the case, really. A key part of this whole mystery.
So for this deep dive, we're not really focusing on the death itself, the finality.
No, it's more about memory, isn't it? How incredibly resilient it is.
How it resists being erased, how it anchors itself to places, even at just a few words.
And how that bridge, meant to connect things, became this point of, well, separation. An enduring question.
Right, those questions that still echo.
You know, if you just drove through Delphi today, from a distance, it might still look like that typical small town.
The steeples are still there, the silos.
Seemingly untouched, yeah. But underneath that surface, something fundamental shifted.
That's so true. It masks this profound change. The town feels quieter now.
It's subtle, maybe, but it's there. A kind of caution replaced the old openness.
Definitely a sense of before and after. It hangs in the air, colors conversation.
Like a layer of innocence got peeled away and never grew back.
And you see the memory pop up in these small ways, don't you?
Oh, yeah. That little pause when someone mentions the bridge.
Or that small shrine, the one that's always there, near the trail entrance.
And the look people sometimes get sort of weary when outsiders ask about it.
It speaks to this shared weight, doesn't it? Something everyone carries.
It's not always talked about, but it's just under the surface. Always.
And like you said, life carries on. You hear kids laughing, trees bloom, they have festivals.
But the rhythm feels different, slower, more measured.
Almost like the whole town is just holding its breath. Still.
Exactly. Waiting for an answer that hasn't come.
And the bridge itself. It just stands there.
It's not a big monument, not an obvious scar.
It's in there. An unanswered question in wood and steel, a reminder of what's unknown.
Which brings us back to those three words, down the hill.
It's incredible how much weight those few syllables took on, how they got embedded in this tragedy.
It really is. Muffled, like you said, almost lost in static, but that firmness.
That low tone. It implies obedience, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A chilling sense of authority. It's become one of the most analyzed audio clips ever, really.
Shows how desperate we are for meaning, even in fragments.
And the context is everything. Captured on Libby German's phone. 14 years old,
Her presence of mind in that moment. It's astounding. As something shifted on the bridge, she hit record.
And we have that grainy video, too, the figure walking towards them.
Hands in pockets, jeans, jacket, hoodie, cap low, steady walk, almost blending in.
Until he wasn't?
Releasing that audio, that was huge, wasn't it? A double-edged sword.
Definitely. A potential clue, a direct link, maybe, but also just agonizing.
Highlighting how close he was, his voice captured, but still unidentified.
So close, yet so far. That feeling must have been torture for the community.
And the way that audio has been picked apart.
Oh, endlessly. Replayed, amplified, denoised. People trying to hear intention in a breath, motive in the cadence.
Professionals, amateurs, everyone trying to decipher it.
But what do we really have? Interpretations vary so wildly.
Is it a command? Casual, calculated, cold.
Exactly. And those interpretations reflect the desperation, the search for any kind of meaning in the senselessness. People projecting onto it.
That phrase really did become a dividing line in time, didn't it?
The world before those words and the world after. A point of no return.
And in that gap, two young girls just vanished into the woods on an afternoon walk.
The ordinariness is what's so jarring.
You know, grief, it often starts so quietly, doesn't it? Not with a bang.
Little silences.
For the families, maybe it was just a phone not ringing back, a text unanswered.
Those digital threads just cut.
Those first pangs of worry. They're so universal, aren't they? The way they can just creep up on you.
Until rational explanations start to feel thin and that deeper fear kicks in.
It was supposed to be just a fun afternoon, off school, teacher conference day, right?
Yeah, free day for the kids.
Libby's sister drops them near the trail, expects to pick them up later. Totally normal.
An ordinary plan, typical teenage stuff, nothing to raise alarm bells.
But the phones go silent. They don't show up. And that worry starts to morph into something else.
Something heavier. Families start calling around, checking, searching.
And the community mobilizes so fast. That says a lot about Delphi.
Friends, neighbors, firefighters, volunteers, heading out with flashlights as it got dark.
Into the woods, calling their names. With hope at first, then maybe dread.
That first night must have been pure agony for the families. Just hoping they were lost, delayed.
Hurt, maybe, but okay. Anything but the worst fear.
But by mourning that hope, it must have felt so fragile. Then the news came.
The news no one ever wants to hear. 2 bodies found, near Deer Creek.
Not far from the bridge, but devastatingly far in reality.
And even before officials confirmed it, in a town like Delphi, people knew.
The unspoken truth just spread. A shockwave.
And grief. It just seeps in, doesn't it? Changes everything. The sounds in the house, the light.
Birthdays, holidays, an empty chair at the table. Brutal reminders.
And no goodbyes, no final hugs. Just cut off abruptly.
Life severed mid-sentence.
Then the media arrives. Strangers offering thoughts, the noise.
But none of it could fill that silence left by Libby and Abby. That specific silence.
And the questions for the families. They must be relentless.
Not just who, but why and how. What did the girls know? What did they see?
That not knowing. It must be a constant torment.
Yeah. The silence that used to be peaceful, small town, quiet, it became a prison.
In those first days, weeks after the discovery, Delphi felt like it was holding its breath, didn't it?
Waiting for an answer, an arrest. An exhale that just never came.
And because there wasn't an immediate arrest, this chill set in.
Suspicion. The awful feeling that the danger wasn't gone. It was still there, maybe close by.
It's a different kind of horror when it feels like it came from within the community, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It shatters that basic trust, that sense of knowing your neighbors, feeling safe on your own street.
If no one was caught, then, well, they could be anywhere. Anyone.
People started looking at each other differently, more guarded. Familiar faces suddenly felt potentially suspect, an invisible lineup.
And then they released the sketches. That added another layer of confusion.
First, the older-looking man. Then, years later, a younger one, sharper features.
Are they the same person? Different people? Witnesses, memories changing? It just deepened the unease.
Police were careful, strategic in what they said, repeating facts, warning against guessing, asking for help.
But those long silences between updates?
Yeah.
While maybe necessary for the investigation, they felt like torture for the town.
Yeah, like rubbing salt in the wound.
And into that quiet, people started filling the gaps themselves with rumors.
It became like a currency almost. Whispers trying to make sense of the senseless, reflecting the pain of not knowing.
Grief itself seemed to fracture the community a bit too, didn't it? People reacted differently.
Anger, silence, leading to misunderstandings, maybe isolation for some.
Even fences seemed to take on a different meaning, like boundaries of trust going up.
Physical symbols of that eroded trust, that suspicion.
But suspicion isn't knowledge, is it? And rumors don't bring justice.
No. And justice felt very, very far away then. Still does, for many.
The human mind just hates a vacuum, doesn't it? Especially when it comes to something this awful. We need patterns, answers.
And when answers don't come, rumors can feel like a refuge. A distorted one, but still.
Gives it a shape, maybe a name, a direction, anything to avoid staring into that abyss of the unknown.
It's a coping mechanism, however flawed.
And the rumors covered everything, didn't they? A drifter, someone local, someone from school, an ex-friend.
Jealousy, a cult, a trucker passing through, a loner, someone known to police, someone completely unknown. Endless possibilities.
And that grainy video just fueled it all.
Oh, absolutely. People swore they recognized the walk, the arm swing, the shoes even.
Intense scrutiny. Everyone becoming a body language expert.
Yeah.
Projecting their own ideas onto those few pixels.
Well, the investigators kept asking for patience.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so hard when you're in that much pain.
And online. It exploded. True crime forums, YouTube channels.
Armchair detectives dissecting every clue, mapping the area, building timelines. Some meant well, trying to help.
Others, maybe not so much. Even naming people falsely. It got messy.
Definitely. A whole different world from the hushed rumors inside Delphi.
Yeah, those conversations in living rooms, church halls. Quieter. Almost pleading for any answer. Just something to bring closure.
But stories aren't justice. Rumors don't heal. They just offer a temporary hold, maybe, when the truth is missing.
What's so tough, so frustrating about this case is that there were clues. More than in many cases, maybe.
Right, the video, the still photo from Libby's phone, 2 different sketches, the audio.
But somehow all these fragments, they didn't lead to a quick answer. Justice stayed out of reach for so long.
It's a paradox, isn't it? An abundance of potential evidence, yet this prolonged uncertainty shows how complex these things are.
That video, it's terrifying in how ordinary it looks. Just a guy walking, hands in pockets, cap low, face hidden.
And the sketch is older, heavier, younger, sharper. Seemingly different guys, raising questions about memory, time, confusion.
And the audio again. Guys, down the hill, haunting.
People clung to these pieces, didn't they? Like sacred objects almost, hoping the key was hidden inside.
Those police press conferences over the years, remember the cycle? A surge of hope.
Followed by that slow fade as nothing concrete emerged. Investigators saying they were close.
But the silence just seemed to get wider for the families, for the town.
Thousands of tips followed up, leads chased, property searched, computers seized. Yet no arrest for years. No closure.
And the sketches were everywhere in Delphi. Flyers, t-shirts, a constant reminder that change, nothing tangible.
And the video clip looped endlessly online and on TV. People staring, hoping the truth would just materialize from the blur.
But they remained suggestions, didn't they? Echoes, not identities. Possibilities, not answers.
And the silence. It became the loudest thing. In every non-update, every failed theory, every empty chair, every sleepless night.
How could so much information lead to so little understanding? That was the silent scream.
That silence wasn't absence. It was this unresolved presence, the shape of everything left unsaid.
That first search effort, it really was driven by love, wasn't it? A refusal to just wait.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Community and family just acting, refusing to be passive.
Thinking back to that Monday, February 13th, ending with no answers, the temperature dropping, sun setting early.
Woods getting dark, phones silent. Last known spot. The bridge.
Then the volunteers heading out that night, flashlights cutting the dark, calling their names.
You can imagine the mix of hope and dread in their voices, fading as the hours pass.
Nothing found that night. By morning, the ground was hard, air colder, their absence felt more definite.
But the search didn't stop. It continued into the next day, Valentine's Day.
Until that volunteer, a local, found them just afternoon.
Near Deer Creek, about half a mile from the bridge. In a clearing, but hidden from the trail.
And the details of what they found? They've been kept private, deliberately.
Which tells you a lot about how disturbing the scene must have been. Protecting the families, the public.
But the impact on those who were there, it was immediate, profound.
Time stopped. First responders went quiet. Experienced officers visibly shaken. A sense of deliberateness about the scene.
They were found together. Their identities were instantly clear. heartbreakingly clear.
And the news just ripped through Delphi, even before official word.
The search was over, but something so much worse was just beginning.
Then the media descended, and the story started to form for the outside world. 2 girls, small town, trail, killer.
But for the families, for Delphi, it wasn't a story, it was just loss. Irreversible.
And those woods, once a place for walking, escape, became a place you only return to in grief. Forever changed.
We talk about before and after. Sometimes the moment it shifts is quiet.
Yeah, no big announcement, just a change in the air.
In Delphi, when word spread about the bodies, you could feel it. A stillness, everything slowed down.
That unspoken fear, building since they vanished, finally landed, became real. Awful certainty.
Even before the police confirmed it, hope just ended. Grief arrived first.
The official confirmation was careful, brief. No speculation, no easy comfort, just the hard facts, handled cautiously.
But the families had already been told privately. That silent trauma, the world-shattering moment.
And then the spotlight hit. National media suddenly focused on this quiet town, wanting answers Delphi didn't have. Their photos were everywhere, Libby and Abby, smiling, alive, frozen together in time.
And always the questions, who, why here, why them?
And that creeping, terrifying realization. The horror wasn't external. It came from within Delphi somehow.
The unspoken horror. Could it be someone local? Someone we know?
It changed things subtly, didn't it? Blinds drawn more often, greetings a bit more cautious, kids maybe held a little closer.
It wasn't just 2 lives that ended. It was a sense of knowing, of innocence. Delphi wasn't the same town it was on February 12th.
Some things, they just go beyond any training, any experience.
For those first responders heading to Deer Creek, they knew what a call about bodies likely meant. But knowing and seeing.
Worlds apart, especially for local responders. This wasn't distant, it was their town, their community.
You imagine them approaching the scene, the woods quiet except for their own breathing.
Silence, absolute silence, at the scene itself.
And it's so significant that the specifics of what they saw haven't been described publicly. Not in reports, not anywhere. Intentional silence.
Speaks volumes about how disturbing it was, protecting everyone from the graphic reality.
That one word someone used, staged, offered without explanation, chilling.
Hints at control. Manipulation.
Yeah.
Not random, not chaotic. That was the consensus. Controlled.
Found close together, signs of deliberate arrangement. The implications are just horrifying.
And the emotional impact on those responders. Immense. Tears, silence, some leaving the job entirely.
Witnessing that kind of horror, that has to change your view of everything. Daily life, safety.
The families were spared the visual details, thankfully. But they felt the weight of it, and the careful words, the unspoken things.
Those responders became witnesses to something. Human in its agency, but inhuman in its cruelty. A burden they carry.
Not heroes, not martyrs, just people who saw the unthinkable.
Monday, February 13th, 2017. Started like any other day, really. Ordinary.
Thin winter sun, still cold, no warning signs at all.
School was out, teacher workday, gave the kids a free afternoon.
And Abby and Libby chose a familiar walk, the Monon High Bridge Trail, somewhere they knew, liked.
Libby's sister dropped them off mid-afternoon. Ordinary goodbye. Nothing dramatic.
They did normal teenage things, took photos, posted to Snapchat, just enjoying the day off.
Libby documented it, didn't she? Her last photo of Abby walking ahead on the bridge.
That image is etched in so many minds now. Abby's back to the camera, gray hoodie, the planks, the creek below. Peaceful.
No shadow, no blur, no hint of danger in the photo itself.
And then at some point things shifted. We don't know exactly when. No cries heard, no panic calls.
Just phones going unanswered, time stretching out as they didn't come home.
Worry turning to fear as evening fell. Then night. That beautiful ordinary day just curdled into tragedy without any warning at all. Heartbreaking.
That trail, the Monon High Bridge Trail, it wasn't some grand national park, was it?
Yeah, but it was important for Delphi. A place to breathe, escape the everyday, served its purpose.
Part of an old railroad line, the bridge itself almost 100 years old, 63 feet up.
No rails, uneven planks, missing bits. Definitely no warning signs about the condition.
Which maybe added to the appeal for teens. The view, the thrill, the privacy.
Yeah, a place for secrets, photos, maybe first kisses. High up, alone.
And Abby and Libby knew it well, felt comfortable there, presumably.
They weren't totally alone that day, though. Other people were on the trail. Some saw them.
One recalled voices, another saw someone in a blue jacket, but nothing seemed wrong at the time.
Hindsight changes everything, doesn't it?
The trail wasn't meant to be a stage, but it became one that day. Its story changed forever.
Now people go there. quietly. To reflect, pray, leave flowers.
The bridge that meant freedom now feels heavy. Such a contrast to the trust the girls must have felt that Monday.
Thinking about the last photo someone takes,
Mm.
especially when they don't know it's the last, it's incredibly poignant.
Libby taking that picture of Abby,
Yeah.
just a normal teen thing, marking the moment. We were here.
And the photo itself is so mundane almost. Abby walking away, gray hoodie, hands by her side, planks, open air, no drama.
It wasn't released just for context, was it? Police hoped it might jog someone's memory, help find witnesses.
But it became this symbol. Friendship, bravery maybe, how fragile life is.
And there's still those rumors, aren't there? About other photos, maybe video on Libby's phone that haven't been released.
Hints that there might be more evidence kept back for the investigation. Adds to the mystery.
That quiet photo, then the threatening audio clip. Such a stark contrast.
Like a moment of light right before the shadow fell.
Makes you think how photos can capture an instant but hide so much. Yet this one, it feels like it tells a hard truth about not knowing what's next.
Some stories don't end with chaos, do they? Just a click, then silence.
Before all this, Delphi was just, well, a town. Quiet, comfortably small. Not perfect, but familiar. Safe feeling.
Typical small town stuff, right? Growing up with the same kids, Friday night games.
The library, the gas station where they know you, a slow, dependable rhythm.
Happy to be unnoticed by the wider world, mostly. Content in its obscurity.
Ordinary rural struggles, sure, but nothing that shook the pound's core.
And it offered kids space, time, freedom to roam, play, explore. That's rare now.
Libby and Abby grew up in that. They were central figures in their world there.
Friends describe their bond. Inside jokes, favorite songs, dreams, just laughing together. Inseparable.
Libby, energetic, smart, maybe a bit outspoken. Abby, steadier, reflective, artistic.
They were known, seen. They belonged there. That sense of belonging is huge in a small town.
And that very ordinariness, that baseline of trust and safety. That's what made what happened next so shattering. Happened here, to them.
It's so important to remember, before they were case files, they were just girls.
Libby German. Liberty Rosalind German. Smart, spirited, witty, curious.
Interested in science, forensics, played sax, loved photography, captured moments.
Abigail Joyce Williams. Abby. Thoughtful, kind, softer voice, maybe. Artistic.
Loved painting, drawing, animals, especially dogs. Compassionate, played volleyball, made videos, left sketchbooks behind.
Their friendship. You can picture the laughter, the shared secrets, the future they talked about.
And their ordinariness is exactly why the loss feels so profound. They could have been anyone's daughter, sister, friend.
Not symbols, not icons, real people forming dreams, lives unfinished.
The love from their families, friends, teachers, it's still so strong. Shows who they were.
The world didn't just lose a mystery, it lost two individuals.
Remembering them fully, as they were, it pushes back against just seeing them as victims.
Libby and Abby, ordinary, radiant, real, we have to say their names, celebrate who they were.
Towns can brace for some things, right? Storms, accidents maybe. But this, two girls taken from a familiar trail in daylight.
It was beyond imagination for Delphi. Just didn't compute.
They had known grief before, sure. But this was different. Deliberate. Human evil, not fate.
And the struggle. How do you even talk about it? How do you mourn publicly with so few facts? How do you tell kids they're safe when safety feels broken?
The community tried. Counselors, vigils, memorials. But that central question remained, how could this happen here?
And for many, it's still unanswered. That awful realization, no place is truly immune.
People reacted differently. Some went silent. Some were furious. Some took action, fundraising, raising awareness. Some even left town.
But most stayed, bound by that shared history, by Libby and Abby's memory.
Delphi was reshaped, wasn't it? Not just by the cruelty, but by the absence, by the wound they all carry.
Some stories, they just don't ever feel finished, do they? Not because they go on forever, but maybe answers come too late or not at all.
Leaving that sense of incompleteness.
And the Delphi case, whatever happens legally down the line, it feels like it will always be rooted in memory.
In the impact of that loss.
We remember the disruption, don't we? The shattering of what felt real and safe.
The Monon High Bridge. It's still there, weathered, silent. But its meaning is completely changed.
It's not just a bridge anymore. It symbolizes, well, the horror, yes, but also vigilance, community, love enduring through loss.
Maybe the point isn't always complete resolution. Maybe it's just resisting the urge to forget.
Holding on to the memory as an act of defiance almost.
So we end by remembering their names. Libby German, Abby Williams.
Not just in mourning, but as testimony, affirming they were here, they mattered.
What remains isn't just grief. It's the conscious choice to remember, isn't it? When the world might prefer to just move on.